What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you're tuned in from. Welcome to the BitLab Academy daily stream. My name is Kelly Kellum, and I can guarantee you if this is your first time, it's not going to be your last time because we provide you all the tools, all the resources, the charts, the mindset, the breakdown, positivity, community. That's what BitLab Academy is all about here on YouTube and over at bitlabacademy.com, where you can go deeper in the community with our premium Discord, as well as all the courses we have to help you break everything down in this market. Throw a one in chat right now if all the audio, visual, everything's working well. Let me know you're there. A little bit of a roll call. You guys are here early before the Discover Crypto stream ends. Big love to each and every one of you that's here. I see all the members that are here in the chat. I see all those beakers filling up. You guys sticking here with it. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And right now is the time that every single one of you, as we get started, you hit that like button, you hit that subscribe button, look below the video. If you don't see subscribe, what are you doing? Hit the subscribe button. Join us in this community, one of the most positive places on the internet for crypto content. And I love you guys. I appreciate you. We got something to talk about today. Markets are ripping around. What is going on here? Man, Bitcoin ripping up. We also see Solana making moves to the upside. We also see Avalanche over here breaking the trend. We also see well, hold on a second. I had Cardano here for a second, and somehow it went off. We see Cardano also breaking through this trend line. What does Ethereum look like? Ethereum breaking out of this small little consolidation range that we had when we were pulling back down into this known level that we had marked out, testing those zones. The question right now is, and I want to see every single one of you comment right now, especially as we got the true believers, the true community people here as the stream is getting going. Do you think this bounce is going to follow through? Let me know in the comments. Also, let me know in the comments down below. Or do you think this is a trap only setting up for further downside? I'm interested to see what the vibe is with everybody here on the channel, because all of you are in the know. I see you, B Team Crypto. Alexandra G. By the way, special shout out to Alexandra G. Everybody give her a thumbs up right now. Everybody throw a heart in the chat. She's the one that goes in there and does all the time codes at the end of these videos to make it easy to navigate when you're watching back later and you want a particular area on the videos. Big love to you. I see you. I appreciate all the help you give. Also, I see JS and Tig Old Biddies, and we got Fix in here, and Crimson Caravan, and Sawtooth Hiker, and B Team Crypto, Alex Green, my main man. We got the whole community here. Atropine too, always being the first one in the room. Big love to you. We got Renegade Designer says dead cat bounce. Well, what does that mean? What does that look like on the chart? We got some things. We're going to talk mostly charts today because you don't need another crypto YouTuber talking about the news. You already got that. And nothing huge is broken really that changes narrative. We need to talk about what's going on in these charts. This is where we're at. Price action, pull back. We talked about the reason this broke down before, but the question is right here. Is this something to be excited about and we need to ape in because it's going to go higher? Well, the start of that question, the premise of that question should always be met with the other question: what's your time frame? If you're trying to play bounces and you're just taking a scalp trade, this is an excellent move and it may go higher yet. If you're looking for a position trade that's going, you're trying to find different areas to enter all the way into towards the middle end of 2025, anywhere here is great. It doesn't matter where the price is in the zone, so long as you have the conviction to hold through any of the noise and the chop in the market that is surely going to be between now and May, because we have that ETF, the Ethereum ETF coming up. We also have the Coinbase litigation going on. We also have the halving coming up. And everybody's wondering, is this going to be a substantial enough drop coming in before the halving, or is there going to be further downside? If you're looking just to take a position long here and you have weak conviction or you don't have an established strategy, this may not be the time for you to go long because you're likely going to get chopped out. And this is what this stream is all about, making sure that you guys have all the levels we should be watching and making sure that you are looking towards the data in the chart, not just being excited. When you zoom here on a 5-minute chart and you double click here and you see, oh my God, it's going to the moon. Well, if you're looking at the 5-minute chart, the moon might just be right here about where it's at, maybe a little higher. If you're looking at the weekly chart, we can see the moon is obviously way above this previous all-time high, up in the 80s, 100s, 150s, 200s. We're going to have to see where the price goes once we start making those moves beyond this previous all-time high. going into what's known as price discovery. As it stands right now, if we zoom in on this, these are the levels that I am watching. Let's get down to the 8-hour chart. These are the levels that I'm watching. Now, let me go ahead and make this smaller, and we can look right here. Now, why am I looking at these levels? Let's double click here, minimize the indicators. Just a quick tip for you all. When you have indicators on the screen, for instance, if I have my MACD, RSI, money flow, all these, and I can't, I want more space on the screen. If you double click on the chart, it minimizes your indicators. Don't worry, they didn't go anywhere. Double click on the chart again, they come back. A little quick tip for you right there. Now, these are the levels that I'm watching. Primarily, most important level I'm watching right now is not only this 41.7, because we see on the 8-hour chart, we've already breached that. 42,961, essentially 43,000. Now, why am I watching this number? Sometimes in order to get context on the situation, we need to zoom out on the chart. So double click here on the right, put it back in auto mode, and it's this rising previous resistance, support, support, resistance, a lot of resistance all through here, a lot of support all through here, support until we lost it. And now we're basically fighting this line right here, this diagonal support, support, we lost it, support, support, lost it. Now it's looking currently, now we have 7 hours left on this 8-hour candle. Let's look at this on the 1 hour. We have breached this diagonal trend line that has marked sort of where we're at in the trend in terms of the strength of the bulls or the bears. When we're above this line, bulls are doing fairly well. When we're below this line, the bears have kind of taken over, and we see we did lose this, found resistance, came back down, and we've worked our way back up. But this candle is not closed yet. We have 7 minutes left. This is the start of building the blocks, the foundation, the bricks, the story that is substantiating the narrative of the bulls. As it stands right now, this is very quick movement. Remember, as fast as things can go up, they can come down. We saw this right here when we pushed up into the $49,000 range and dropped. Look at how fast it fell, further than it pushed up. Where is that at? Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles to the upside, 2 candles to the downside. So because something is moving to the upside, let me say this on the big screen. Because something's moving quickly to the upside does not mean you need to ape in and just ride it because it's about to go to the moon. Because depending on what time frame you're looking at and the data signals that are underlying that price action, showing that the data supports the price action going up, or if it is an impulse move that's meant to trap you. Markets can move down just as fast as they move up. Let me say that again. Markets can move down just as fast or faster than they move up. We saw this when we had the move from 45.8 all the way up to over 49,000. 5, 6, 7, 8 candles, and then all of a sudden 2 candles, boom. We ate it all back up to the downside. That being said, the market is moving right now. It's moving to the upside. It may want to trigger your emotions to just jump in, but you have to understand your time frame. You have to understand what's going on the broader picture, because as it stands right now, we still have to watch that $43,000 mark as a potential opportunity. If it reverses anywhere below that, we're still forming new lower highs, and this can substantiate an opportunity for this to be a bull trap, which will eat you and chop your capital out of this market. So let's stay smart. Let's stay vigilant. Let's trade with data, not with price. Now, all that being said, let's go ahead and jump back into these charts and talk about this. There we go. So where we're at right now, look at this. This looks great. Price action pushing up. We got a little move. We got a little bit of a pullback, a little bit of a move, a little bit of a pause, and then, an expansion to the upside here. We're right now currently just under $42,000. We're at 41,959. We can see this right here on the right. And what we really want to watch for is this area right here, because as it stands, the price action is only currently impulsing up into where this previous range was right here. This previous range where all of this price just kind of chopped sideways before it came into this trend line and rejected to the downside. So yeah, we broke through this. We broke through it. It's going to the moon, right? Well, somebody's bank accounts, a lot of smarter traders' bank accounts are going to go to the moon with how this price action plays out. Unfortunately, most of us in this market are far too triggered by our emotions, and we don't take risk management seriously because we feel like, let's go ahead and zoom out. We feel like we missed this move. We feel like we missed this move. We feel like we missed this move. And so all the way up here near a top, a local top, we got rejected at the golden pocket right here. We see it pulling back. Oh, now I go all in, only for this to come up into the zone to reverse and come back down. So what I'm saying is not a direction on the chart right now. What I'm saying right now is caution. Right now, this move right here may be ultimately designed to trigger your emotions. So if you miss a move from any of this portion all the way up to here, and then this keeps going, I would rather wait until we broke some key level here and we saw a strengthening of data, a confluence of strengthening data suggesting that there is fuel for this move to go to the upside. So what does this look like? We have price action coming down. Now we currently have broken out of this trend on the 8 hour, on the 4 hour as well. At any of these time frames you want to see this rejection, rejection, rejection. We've broken through this. Now this is a tradable move on a smaller time frame, but it's a tradable move understanding that you have areas that you should be taking profit. If you took this trade, this area should have been marked out to take a little bit of profit. This area also should be marked out to take a little bit of profit. And your stop loss should also have already been moved up. So regardless of what happens here, you're going to exit this trade in profit. If you haven't done that, then you're not trading in a way that's going to be consistently profitable. Now, what does this look like? Let's pull up the BitLab trading stack. I just want to look. We're here on the 4 hour, still negative money flow. We do have the RSI breaking. Look at this. It kind of hesitated right here. And what is this? This is right about the 50 range. So 54% we see here on the right side. But look at this. Stop, stop, stop. This is the battle, essentially. It's the easiest way to see the narrative battle on a time frame between the bulls and the bears. Here on the 4 hour time frame, we see things wanted to push higher. The strength quite wasn't getting there, but now we've broken through. You see, as soon as we broke through this, we have a strong move up. Stochastics came up here, came down, pulled back and tested this level and is now angled to the upside. We do have negative money flow, but there's one saving grace for the bulls here. Even though it's negative money flow, we have an arc that's happening like this, which could, it doesn't yet, but it could indicate that this may continue up like this. And we want to see somewhere in this region, potentially, where this money flow crosses back above the zero line and we see a positive money flow coming into the market. Positive money flow means you have fuel for the move, in addition to looking at all your strength indicators. And we're seeing a lot of bullish flashes here on the BitLab trend fuel, part of the BitLab trading stack. We're seeing a lot of bullish signal positioning on this currently. Now we also see this momentum. Look at this red on these bars. These are the momentum waves. When you have red, this is suggesting that there's been also not only downward momentum, but also a lot of selling pressure. Conversely, when you see the green, you have positive momentum. In this case, you have positive momentum, and the green bars indicate a lot of buying pressure. Well, look at this. The momentum wave has come up here, had a little bit of a hesitation. You can see this kind of rounding a little bit, but then it popped through. Once the RSI popped through, and we also have green bars suggesting there's a lot of buying volume trying to support a move higher. So what does this look like right now? Looking at this on the BitLab trading stack here on BitLab Intelligence, we also see this represented with these teal candles here on the price action. This is saying there's a lot of buying pressure under this move. It's not just price going up. There's a lot of buying volume, a lot of buying pressure coming in. We also see this represented a little bit on the volume down here, but specifically on these candles, we're seeing buying pressure come in. So as it stands right now, if I'm looking at this just zoomed in, this is looking very good. We pushed up, had a little hesitation, a little bit of a drawdown, and then so rise, retrace, continuation. The question is going to be, is this going to be a mini market cycle, or is this going to be an actual reversal? What I mean by this, mini market cycle would be down here. We form a little bit of a bottom, push up, retrace, push up, retrace, a little bit of distribution, and then break down like this. If it is a reversal, doesn't mean we won't have hesitations, but we're going to want to watch, especially in this area right here. All this red is essentially, you can see it, auto prints on here. The BitLab trading stack shows this liquidity interest zone where a lot of sell orders came in before. And so as we're pushing into this zone, we want to really watch carefully if this all of this is just a trap coming into the zone to kind of fill out some of this liquidity interest zone before it comes down like this and then it works its way back down. Now, if this is a full reversal, then we're going to see this push up into the zone, likely get rejected, come down, a little bit of a bounce, come up, find support, and continue up like that. Now, people get mad at analysts. They get mad when you come onto YouTube. They get mad when you see somebody breaking down the charts and you say, why can't you tell me what direction it's going? I can't, if I told you it is going up or it is going down, or anybody that says that is lying, unless they're saying broadly over the next 10 years, it's going up and to the right, sure. But when we're looking at a 4-hour chart, there's no telling what different impacts and stimulus, and I don't mean money stimulus from the government. I'm talking about like the different narrative stimulus and what's going on with BlackRock and ARK Invest and Fidelity and Michael Saylor, Apple, Amazon. There's so many different things that are already engaged with Bitcoin and crypto. There's so many different things, but there's also, we're at that cusp right now where there's the potential for any of these different large institutions to take large partnerships at any time. We also have at any given time, the opportunity for any of those institutions to come out blatantly against Bitcoin and crypto. Unfortunately, there's a lot riding right now on the expectation of what this ETF is going to bring, as well as this idea that because we're at this place right now where we very well could have great opportunities and partnerships and integrations with crypto. And if some of those things don't pan out, then there's no telling what could happen with this market at any given time. Also considering the fact that we have the Coinbase litigation going on right now, which is going to have far wide and, I mean, setting up essentially what the parameters for the SEC's involvement with regulation or enforcement, or just the framework for how in which the government's really going to be allowed to limit and all this water that they've been throwing on the market the last 2 years. But it also could be they could completely get slapped down, which would also buoy the market and send it higher. So when we're looking at these charts, this is feeling good, but let's get down. Let's look down at the 24-minute. Let's see what's going on here. 24-minute shows us we did have, look at this, rise, got a little bit overheated here on the stochastics and the RSI. Momentum was still expanding up. On the 24-minute, we see positive money flow. Okay, positive money flow flipped right here where this all of a sudden flips blue. You see right here, option V. And what happens right here? We have price going sideways. Money comes in to water the garden, and then we see those plants grow. Boom. So as we're standing right now, we saw not only the rise, look at this, a little bit of a take profit symbol, a little bit of a bearish signal. We had a high volume buying and then stopping volume, these yellow candles, and this pulled right back in. This is what we want to see in an uptrend. And on those 24 minutes, we're seeing 24-minute chart pulling back into the dynamic support zone, and the stochastics fully reset. Money flow stays positive. So this is giving me an indication this may likely reverse. And then what happens? We have the bull flag and we have a move to the upside. So what's the target from this smaller move? Well, we come right here, measure the flagpole. Oops, let me move like this. And this is saying that we could get up here into the $42,500 mark. Now remember, we're going to want to watch like a hawk this next impulse, because we have a move right here. We have this move right here. And if we measure this move, what we just did for the target, if we get a smaller move on this subsequent breakout from this bull flag, it may suggest, for instance, if this reverses somewhere in here, this is showing that you're getting a slowing down of bullish momentum, the lack of willingness to buy and push higher. And therefore, as that happens, other people can see it in the charts. It's telegraphed through the data, the volume, all the data signals that we're reading on these charts on a daily basis. And what will happen? What could happen is, as this comes up, if this starts to weaken and we don't have the same sort of size impulse or larger, then the bulls start losing their conviction, and then some start taking some profits, and then the bearish narrative starts to take over, and we can potentially roll back over to the downside. So the point with this is, I am bullish as I can be, but I'm not going to let some green candles just dictate that I forgo and forget my strategy and I just jump in without a healthy plan, and also with my risk management. So my question to everybody in the channel right now, we got 190 people live right now. Every single one of you, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, join us here. We got such a wonderful community. And everybody that's here in the chat, welcome everybody that's new here. If you are new, let us know in the chat. We'd love to see you. Love to see you here as a part of the family. And now we got to keep this going because we got a lot to cover today. So things are looking like they're reversing a little bit, and we see this across the market. Ethereum came down, bottomed right into the zone. And I had these areas marked out. We've been talking about these areas on this stream. Look at where this bounced right on this very key trend line that we have marked out here on this on the charts here, all the way back to June 2022. Rejection, rejection, rejection with some fake outs, and we pushed right back above it. But when we get back down to that smaller time frame, look at that, found a little bit of support, came up. This was just a fall rise continuation of the downside. So what we want to watch here on Ethereum, and look at where we're at right now. We're getting rejected. Once we lost this yellow line, the weekly VWAP, once we lost this yellow line, it became an impulse area to go short. We are testing this area right now. So we're watching this 22, basically let's call it 2300, this region, 2270, 2300 area on Ethereum. If we're able to push beyond this, we have a very important area that we need to watch, which is right here, this 2321, because this area we can see found some support right there. We had a lot of noise over here, but a lot of rejections here, a lot of some rejections and support here, rejection, rejection. We saw that on the larger time frame. So we need to pay attention, because we're starting to make this move does not mean it is the move. This very well may be that opportunity, much like this. Look, that's the move. Oh, I'm going all in. It's going back up, only to reject. Now we got some consolidation, accumulation, pushing up. The question is going to be, is it going to do this? Or is it going to push up like this? Push up, find support, and continue to the upside. That's all going to be determined in time, and you got to have an action plan for both. As it stands right now, look at this momentum waves. We had some bullish divergence right here, which led to the price moving higher and then consolidating. We have negative money flow, which currently has just started to flip bullish. Now, this is on the 1 hour chart, but what we're seeing here is we're seeing a little bit of the momentum waves starting to, they were almost like loading a spring to move to the upside. Now, the problem with all this is that we see the stochastics starting to roll over, the RSI starting to roll over. We're getting up above that 80%, in 75, 80%. We don't want to see this reject here, because this would also signify if price does move higher and these are pulling back, that means that it is a false move. We're just getting a little bit telegraphed here right now. So we're going to want to keep our eyes on this. Remember, the price point on a chart, the price, what's happening with the price, is only one metric that you can utilize in combination with all the other underlying data signals that you use together to give you that 1, 2, 3, 4 points of confluence to take a move. You don't look at price going up, go, I got to get in, it's going up. No, that means you're going to donate your money to other people in this space with a better strategy. So coming back over here, we also see Avalanche pulling down, breaking down here on this trend line. Rejection, rejection. Now we've broken above it, but we haven't yet really made the move. Yes, we broke above this, but look at this, showing weakness. This is a 6 hour candle, 50 minutes left. So already 5 hours have already elapsed in this candle, the majority of the candle. And look at this, impulse expanding to the upside. Now we're already seeing, and it's not a closed candle yet on the 6 hour, but we're seeing a little bit of hesitation here. And we did not even meet the previous high right here at 33.49, which is here on Avalanche. So this is giving me a little bit of, I don't want to say worry, hesitation for the idea that this is ready to make the move higher. This may need to come down and test somewhere in this region, maybe about 31, 38, or even come down and test on this trend line and these lows, which would be down here at 30. And if we're able to bounce here, then maybe we're going to make a move up. Because remember, when we see breakouts, when we want a healthy breakout, we'd like to see a move outside, a test back down, and then a continuation. Whether this test is here, where this previous range lows are, or comes all the way down and tests this actual line, is yet to be seen. But we want to see that move, because as this is happening, bullish expansion, are we going to get hesitation and a drop and then a fall through, or a drop and a bounce? These are the considerations we want to make when we see a breakout. Because you see this does not mean you missed the move. In fact, people that make money in this market over time are patient enough to look out for this breakout, but be patient enough for the confirmation, which is the break back down and then the move to happen. Because a lot of times people will jump in here, or they actually jump in right at the top of this wick, and they say, man, every time I buy, the market reverses. Where you're buying the hope, you're not buying the signal. Stop buying the hope, buy the signal. Okay, let's go ahead and delete that. delete that. Now let's go ahead and look at a couple other things. We also see Solana. We had this marked out. Remember, we were talking about this $74 level. Same thing we're seeing here that we saw on Avalanche. We had that time frame, 6-hour time frame. We can also see it on the 4. This is on the 4-hour. Rejection, 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 breakthrough. This already got the breakout, retest, continuation. The hesitancy I have here is the fact that the price action came up into where all of this area consolidated right here. See this? Price action is basically right in line with that area. So this is essentially acting as a roadblock currently, a liquidity roadblock that we're also coming up into this order block, which shows that there's a lot of liquidity interest in the order books right here. And it's all right here, this red box that we have on the chart. You can see on the BitLab trading stack, part of this BitLab volume, part of the BitLab trading stack, showing that we have all this area right here with price action, and just above it we have this order block that's saying that there's a lot of liquidity interest here that was dumping in this zone, which can act as a magnet. So we're going to want to see if this comes in here and gets rejected, consolidates, rejected, and come back down, or actually hesitation, come down, find support, and continuation. Things are on a hair trigger right now with the entire crypto market. There's more people than we're ever in before, considering also where we're at this point in the market cycle. Last time, we have millions of more people in the market, but we also have an exponential more amount of education and awareness about what's going on in this market. The halving. We have institutions out there doing advertising for the ETF, changing their narrative that they've been spewing over the last 5 years about how bad Bitcoin was. Now, because they can make money on it, Bitcoin is the opportunity. But that cuts with the double-edged sword, because it means that we're going to have a lot more retail people coming in. We also have bigger money coming in, which means the market can get moved around. But there's also this a little bit of a heightened sense of awareness about what could come here in this next cycle. But that expectation of bullishness, much like we just saw with the fall in price right after the ETF launch, the expectation of bullishness creates a perfect opportunity for them to take advantage of the market and send it the opposite direction. So we need to understand on these charts, yes, we got a breakout, but we still have quite a bit of time in the market before coming back over here to having progress. We still have quite a bit of time. Come on, computer. We still have quite a bit of time, about 80 days. Look, we're 93%, almost 94% of the way there to the next halving. This is where we were. We had sideways price action and then a pump, pretty significant pump up into the halving, and then over 40% sell-off across the halving. We had a black swan back here. So we have two entirely different stories. I don't think we'll get a black swan, but think about all the geopolitical stuff going on right now. You never know. You got to be smart with how you're investing right now, because not anything is guaranteed. But what we've seen in this market from each halving cycle at the marker of where the halving is, and when we look at the most bullish portion of the market, it comes post-halving. And this is what we're coming up on right now. But there's also expectation of this. So we may get a sell-off into this halving and go down to 28, 26, 20. Who knows? I think that's less likely, but I'm prepared for it if it does happen. When we look back at Bitcoin right here, look at that, trying to make the move. Look, we've tapped right into this order block zone. If we look at where we're at in relationship to the halving is where, no, it's not that line. The halving is this line right here, roughly about April 2nd, April 5th, somewhere in that week, depending on how fast blocks transact between now and then. Remember, it's an average of 10 minutes. The halving is based on 210,000 blocks, which tends to be about roughly 3 years and 10 months. So we'll get the exact date as these months elapse and we get closer to it. But we have a lot that can happen between here and there. I mean, look at this. I just want to show you something. I want to take this right here. I'm going to come over here to right here, date range. We're going to take this right here where we're at to this marker right here. I just want to show you something. This is the area that we're concerned with right now. Let's turn off all the indicators. I want to look at just price action. So this gap right here, why does it say 200? Yeah, I'm on the 8 hour. So 68 days, 68 to 80 days, somewhere in this range. But just look at what can happen. Remember this. See this gap right here? And we think it's going to be up only, sideways, or down. But let's look at what can happen in this period right here, we went from, this was a 41% move to the upside, and then where we're at right now, 20% move to the downside. Okay, now if we move this over right here, same amount of time. We're just looking at what can happen in this time period. From here down, that was about a 18% move to the downside from here. And then from the same time frame, all the way up to up here, 41% move to the upside. See over here. This was a substantial from this, come on. From this move all the way to the top, 58% move to the upside. And then in the same time period, we're going down to this point right here. It's 15% move to the downside. There's a lot that can happen between the small window gap that we're looking at right here on the price action, between here and roughly about right here where the next halving is going to be. So this feels good. This feels really good, man. You know, after we had this huge sell-off, this feels good. But this does not mean it's going to go up only. One of the things we have to pay attention to right now, we have to start paying attention to, is what's going on with these ETFs and these flows. It's a new chart put together by The Rational Root here on Bitcoin Strategy Platform. What we're seeing is Bitcoin price, and we're seeing basically the aggregate spread data between the various Bitwise, Franklin Templeton, Wisdom Tree, what else we got? Fidelity, BlackRock, GBTC, and we're seeing their price action come down like this. Now we see as a price action pushed up into this, the sell-off and all this rotation of capital and uncertainty about what it means has led to a little bit of a sell-off here, and also a lot of speculation that then once the news is over, we have a bit of a sell the news event. So is it because the ETFs had a bit of a sell-off and capital rotation, or was it just to sell the news? It doesn't matter. We can look technically on the chart and understand the chart was telegraphing this despite what was going on in the ETFs. But we can look now at what's going on in the ETFs because we can start tracking what's going on in these charts. This is iShares. This is IBIT, which is the BlackRock ETF. This is the launch all the way up here. And where we're at up here, all the way down to that bottom, it's a 25% drop that we saw on the BlackRock ETF. Now, in terms of their share price for their ETF positions. But let's ignore what the price is. Let's look at the price action on the chart in terms of how this is charted, because what it's looking like right now is we do have a potential to say that we formed a little bit of a bottom here. Why am I looking at this when we want to know where Bitcoin and altcoins are going? Because looking at this chart will also telegraph to us the interest in these ETFs, which will also telegraph what's going on in the buying power of these ETFs broadly. And so what we're seeing right here, we look at this gap we have from the close of yesterday into today, and it's, we're getting a gap up right here, which is fairly bullish, increase in, bullish volume here. But we're also seeing this roundingness. This is something you want to see for potentially a local bottom. Now, this doesn't mean it's only going to go up from here, but we want to see that we form some sort of base and, start working our way up, maybe chop a little sideways, come up, find some support, and work our way to the upside, because this is going to be one of those metrics that we're going to be able to see is driving a broader institutional and retail interest and signal in the space, especially as Grayscale stops or slows down unwinding so many positions. We've had billions of outflow from Grayscale, and the majority of that, in terms of the same amount of volume and number of Bitcoin, has been bought up by all these other ETFs. So it's almost like a net equal, it's like net neutral a bit. There's a little bit of positive, there's a little bit of negative each day, depending on which day you're looking at. But as FTX, has finished all their unwinding of the $1.2 billion in Grayscale shares, and we see other institutional smart money, retail also, that were playing that negative premium. We see that outflow, the basically people trying to get out of the Grayscale ETF. We're going to start seeing some of that capital rotate into the other ETFs, but we're also going to see less of these multi-thousand, 10,000, 6,000 transfers to Coinbase to sell those GBTC Bitcoin holdings. The question's going to be, I have, is when Grayscale really slows down to basically about, what's the word I'm looking for? Equanimity, you know, right where they're starting to see more inflows coming in than outflows on Grayscale itself. What is this going to do to the OTC market? Meaning the stuff that's not on exchange, right? When you see Michael Saylor buying or you see these ETFs buying, they're buying from OTC over the counter, not affecting basically price slippage on exchange. So at what point, I'm wondering, at what point do we start seeing these large institutional players not able to buy from all this Bitcoin that's being unwound from Grayscale? Are we going to have basically an empty pool? Are we going to have the OTC pool empty out, and we're going to start potentially at some point seeing buy orders consistently within exchange? I think there's going to be a lot of time before that happens, because we also have all these miners out there that I think that's probably going to be the next step, that they're going to buy directly from miners at different points in the market. There's going to be liquidity pools around all that. But the point here is we're seeing a broad interest range globally as well, focused here in the US from people that have been outside the system that now have access. So getting back into these charts before we wrap out here in a few minutes, I just want to point to a couple things. Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance up here chopping around. Where at? This metric here from this high back here in February 2017, came back into it, rejected in January 2021, came back into it as we're at right now. We want to pay attention to this, all you altcoin holders, because if we do come up, look at this. We got rejected. We formed a new low here. We have a new lower high. Currently, right now, we're setting up for a potential at some point, if this does come up anywhere in this region and break down, this breaking down would indicate that the altcoin market is running better in terms of how much capital is flowing into altcoins versus Bitcoin. This would be potential setup for that altcoin season. Everybody claims just happened or we're in the midst of. No, that was not an alt season. We had a small rotation of capital as the markets were speculatively pushing up, for the ETF, and some of that capital was also running in altcoins. But what we really want to see is, like this right here, that was an alt season. This was an alt season. This was an alt season. Why do you say that? Because the dominance falls precipitously on the charts. And we can see that. Let's see, this is June 2022 and October 2021. Let's look at the total three. Okay. June 20. So right here, see this? This is everything excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. And this made a move from right here all the way up there. That is a $82 billion move up the altcoin market. We see right here, this is that other one. Yeah. I mean, look at that move. $107 billion move to the upside. So we want to pay attention to these things, because as we're looking at it right now, this was telegraphing this rising, broadening wedge here. Could be a rising channel as well. We can just do it like that. They effectively have the same trading strategy in that these rising channels or rising, broadening wedges tend to break bearish. We pointed that out over here. Broke bearish, came up, retested, came down. And where we're at right now, look at this. We are under this trend signal line that is red. We just cleared this weekly VWAP, but we're pushing right now into this dynamic resistance zone between the EMA ribbon and 20 moving average under this trend signal line. We want to see what happens in here. I still think there's a likelihood of another move to the downside, if not just choppiness and sideways consolidation. So as much as we want to look at all these different things on the market, if we come over here and let's, for instance, FTM's been making some opportunities to trade lately. And look at this. This is on the 1 hour chart. Look at this move. And by the way, this move right here was discussed in the, let me see if I can pull it up. The BitLab Discord, in the members area on the BitLab Discord, team VIP charts. Was it in here? Scalps. Yeah, it's right here. John Dalton, the last couple of days, has been talking about Phantom. I don't know where it's at. It's in here. He was calling this out specifically a couple days before this market made the move. Now from here, it's a 10% move. It's not too bad. Not too bad on a downtrend. So where we're at right now, let's look at what we're seeing. So let's turn off the indicators so we can just get a little clarity on the screen. We have a trend, we have a trend line right here coming across. So rejection, rejection, rejection. Now look at this. Push up, rise, rise, retrace, confirmation, continuation. So we're coming up. Yes, this feels good, much like the other altcoins we're looking at. We do have some buying volume, but we have the stochastics angle down. The RSI, what do we see in the RSI? The RSI is telegraphing something to us right here. This is telegraphing something to us. 2 attempts by the RSI, and we have lower highs. In the same time period, here's one high on the RSI, you see right here. And then the next high, we have a lower high. We have a little bit of bearish divergence as we're approaching into this order block right here, which is respective of all this sort of zone, this zone that we're watching right in here. So we have this lows, we have a little bit of deviation here, but look, bounce, and then we come up in here and reject, and we come right in this zone right now. If we cannot get through this, this may be a little bit of a fake out. So how is this represented? Let's go from the top, Fibonacci, top to bottom. Let's see where we're at right now. So we do have quite a bit more of a move to make and still have a potential bearish rejection. And that is, look, previous range high right here. That's where the golden pocket is of this full move. Look at this. We had some interaction with the 382. We're sitting here right in the zone. If we cannot even get up into here, this is indicating weakness on this attempt, trap for bulls to potentially roll back over. Now, if we take this Fibonacci from this zone right here, you can say, look at this. From this smaller zone, we came up, we broke right through the golden pocket, found support on it, and now we're getting a little bit of a rejection on the 786. So depending on which move you're looking at, we're seeing an attempt, but there's a little characteristically lack of follow through. Another thing we can see is this impulse right here. Boom. Look at how big that impulse is. Let's come right here. Let's see if it's the same size. No, we're getting weakness with a smaller amount of momentum in this in these two moves. So we have an impulse and then a weaker impulse. It's another thing indicative of a potential weakness coming in. Now, does this mean that the market can't still pump? The market can still pump, and we also may get a new news narrative or something coming out about Coinbase and SEC. This may just completely ignore this potential reversal trap signals that are here, and it may just rip up. But from a technical level, looking at the charts right now, things are looking like they're setting up for a little bit of a trap and potential move back to the downside. So this is what we need to be paying attention to. I also wanted to look at GRT. I haven't looked at this one lately, but I wanted to pull this up. So we're seeing the same thing across the market right now. We're seeing signals for a little bit of a move, but a little bit of weakness on this. Look at this. A little bit of high volume, stopping volume. Candles starting to get a little bit angled here. Stopping volume. We're going to want to watch if we can hold, if this does pull back down here. If we lose that, then I'm looking at coming back down into this zone here, down at 15 cents, 15.18, which is not a huge move. But this is not yet telegraphing to me that it wants to go higher. Look at this also. Stochastics, bearish divergence, higher, lower. See this? Lower, higher. So this is going lower on its peaks, and the price action is going higher. We do have positive money flow, but it's not increasing. It went positive, and it's staying stagnant. See this right here? It's staying stagnant. See this? This is increasing money flow. This is increasing money coming out as this gets bigger. As it flips right here, money flow came in positive, but it kind of pulled back. It's just kind of, it's setting up just like this right now. The price action is pushing up, which feels exciting, but the data signals say, slow down, sucker, because you don't have the fuel to climb this up to the top. So this is what you want to do. Don't get blinded by price. Look at the data. Look at, is the car fueled? You're driving up a mountain. Does this mother have gas? That's what you want to ask. And if it's going downward, if price is going down, but you see somebody's gassing up the car, AKA strength in the data underlying, then that's saying, hey, maybe a reversal's coming in. Let me find a trend line. So everybody, this is what I'm looking at right now. Markets are moving around. We have in the BitLab Discord at 4 p.m. today. If you get over here, here on the BitLab Discord, there's an event up here at the top. Click on that, hit interested, join us. It's going to be Drew and I, Drew from Blockchain Basement. We're going to be breaking down some hidden gems that we're looking at, things that we're trying to stack into this next bull market. Get involved on the Discord in the members area. You can sign up right here at Enroll Now here on bitlabacademy.com. Get in the know, stay ahead of the curve, and trade with us. And make sure before the deadline approaches, you hit decrypted.tax/hit. Sign up for a free consultation. Get your crypto taxes sorted so you don't get behind the ball and just have this weighing on you. Make sure you take advantage of this. We got a great offer here, partners of the channel. So check it out. That's all I got today, everybody. I'll see you in the Discord. Much love. I got to go. Adios. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for always tuning in. Hit that like button, suckers.